I'm sure many of us have heard the story of the MS Estonia, and I will be doing a video on it for this anniversary and an even larger project to solve a big question. But anyways, one story not a lot of people might know about the Estonia is the murder that happened while she was still in her first early years. This is the story of the Viking Sally murder. The Viking Sally was a ferry built for the Viking Line in the early 1980s. However, she later gained a reputation as one of the most dangerous ferries in the entire Baltic Sea. In 1986, a man on board the Viking Sally murdered a businessman. I don't know how he was allowed on the ship, given he had a history of criminal records. In fact, I don't even know how he was even out of jail with a murder history. Anyways, in 1987, two backpackers planned to take the Viking Sally to Finland and eventually hike up to Norway. They were recently engaged and they traveled with their friend Thomas. These two people were Klaus and Bettina. Remember those names for later. Anyways, Klaus and Bettina decided to settle for a nap on the helipad because they didn't have a cabin. Their friend Thomas wasn't so enthusiastic about the cold air, and exactly one deck below his friends found a nice Finnish man to settle next to. Klaus and Bettina met another person who was fluent in their native language of German. Klaus and the man bonded over their love of cars and planned to go to one car event at Finland once the ship docked. Bettina also found him quite charming, and so it seemed as everything was well. Three teenagers decided to head up to the helipad to get a good view of a star constellation that was passing over soon. When they noticed two people leaning against a wall, they appeared to be intoxicated. They went over to help and they saw that blood was everywhere, all over their face, and one of them was laying down on the floor. Two of the men went to help out, while the third bursted toward the medical bay, and the nurse then escorted them in. After seeing the damage to their faces was so severe, she then sounded the alarm and a helicopter came 30 minutes later. The helicopter lifted the two to land, and of course these people were Klaus and Bettina. Klaus passed away just before entering the hospital, but Bettina survived, although she had a long recovery. The Viking Sally docked in Finland the next morning, and immediately the ship was docked. Elderly, little kids, and families were let off the ship because it was thought that they could not have committed such an atrocious act. Only single people and also young teenagers were left on board. Immediately, Thomas and the Finnish man he slept with were questioned, but they were found to have not done it. No murder weapon was identified, however, one axe was missing. After a week, the three men who found them were also questioned, as well as the man who talked to Klaus about the cars. All of them were found that they all of them were released. Eventually, the shipping line told them that they needed to continue the ship's operations, and so everyone was allowed off the ship. Breaking news was made recently as the man convicted of murdering both of them has now been caught. It's not known who he is, but it's known that he probably murdered them just due to mental insanity or jealousness. Eve- Eventually, the Viking Sally switched owners many times throughout the years before finally ending up with the Est Line in 1990. The ship would later sink in 1994, killing tons of people and creating what is now known as the second worst European ship disaster in the world. Minus, of course, like wartime sinkings. Of course, the Titanic was much worse, but the Estonia's situation, well, it was pretty gruesome. Remember, join me from September 25th onwards as we dive into the story of this truly incredible ferry. I will also be launching my own little private investigation with a couple of other ship nerds from the internet. If you're curious to join, I'll have a link to my Discord server down below where you can get an account, which literally takes only 2 seconds. Just click on the link, set up your username, stuff like that, and then boom, you'll be in the server. If you have any footage or information regarding the MS Estonia disaster, please come forward. And if you'd like to join the investigation, also say so in my Discord server, and also say your YouTube channel if you have one. Anyways, thanks for watching, and bye.